the signing of Josh Hader by the Astros to a 5-year, $95 million free agent contract. Kind of a stunning signing. A lot of people were wondering, would Hader beat Edwin Diaz's 5-year, $102 million extension with the Mets? He actually did in present-day value, if not total value. Diaz had deferrals at his deal, lowered it to $93 million in present-day value. Hader obviously beats that. But enough about the money, because what's really interesting here are the Astros and Jim Crane and what he's doing. This contract for Crane, the owner, is a departure. He had never given that much money to a free agent before. He is also on track now to cross the luxury tax threshold, something he has done only once since becoming owner in November 2011, and that was in the 2020 shortened season. So Crane is doing some things a little bit differently, and you might ask why. Now, he's given $100 million extensions before, Altuve and Bregman, Alvarez, but free agency, no, he hasn't done that. What I think is going on here is that Jim Crane sees the Astros' competitive window is starting to close. Now, they've lost big free agents before, Correa and Springer, but they're facing now a real series of losses that could affect them starting this offseason, or I should say next offseason. Let's take a look at where the Astros stand with regard to where some of their players are in the free agent process. All right, after 2024, Altuve and Bregman are free agents. Ryan Presley, if he fails to make 50 appearances, which is doubtful based on his recent performance, I believe he has 50 or more his last 4 full seasons, that option kicks in if he gets to 50. If he doesn't, then he's a free agent. Justin Verlander, similar thing, pitches fewer than 140 innings. He's a free agent. So it's possible that after 2024, Presley and Verlander will be gone. And then after 2025, Abreu, Kyle Tucker, and Framber Valdez are all free agents. Now, of that group, everyone in the industry expects Altuve to re-sign and be a lifetime Astro. Bregman, not so certain. And then the others, you just don't know how it's all going to play out. So the Astros are not necessarily at a crossroads this season. This is not necessarily a last hurrah, but it has a little bit of that look. And Crane obviously wanted to reinforce his bullpen. That was the idea behind signing Josh Hader. Now, if Crane was going to go out of his comfort zone, you can argue maybe he should have done it in another way. Maybe he should have signed Blake Snell, high dollar, short-term deal. Maybe he should have signed, I don't know, Hector Neris, Robert Stevenson, and some other reliever for less money than he had to give Hader. I don't know that this is the best allocation of resources. But there's one other thing here. There's one other element, and this to me might be part of Jim Crane's motivation. We have not heard from him yet. They have not held the press conference, and I don't know if this was part of it or not. But remember back at the 2015 deadline, the Astros had Josh Hader. The Astros traded Josh Hader, along with Domingo Santana, Brett Phillips, Adrian Hauser, and they got back Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers. Trade was not a good trade for the Astros, obviously. Gomez was released more than a year later. Fiers had his moments for the Astros, obviously was the whistleblower in the end. I don't know that you figure that into the trade equation necessarily. And the guys they traded, outside of Hader, they haven't had a huge impact. Phillips had a little bit of a good run in 2021 with the Rays. Santana had a little bit of a run with the Brewers. He's been in Japan the last 3 years. And Hauser, kind of an average major league pitcher. Not players who have no value. They've been contributors to their teams, but not stars. Hader, a star. Hader has been the dominant reliever in the league for quite some time now. National League Reliever of the Year twice. And I would imagine Jim Crane, as owner, has thought, man, we never should have traded that guy. And in fact, as Chandler Rome of The Athletic has reported, Jim Crane tried to get Josh Hader back, along with Blake Snell, last year. He tried to make a deal with the Padres, the Astros did, to get both those pitchers. Crane didn't name them, but he said they were in on a starter and a reliever from the Padres. We can all put 2 and 2 together. There are times in the industry when owners, when executives, when scouts fixate on a player. Maybe it's a player they couldn't get in the draft. Maybe it's a player they've coveted all these years. Maybe it's a player they've traded away. It seems to me Josh Hader might have been one of those players for Jim Crane. Time now for Dude and Dork of the Week. I would say the dude is pretty obvious. We talked about him in the first segment. His name is Josh Hader, and he signed a big-time contract last week, one that he has earned by his performance over the years. I know people say relievers are a gamble, and they are a gamble. Even Josh Hader is a gamble. Walk rate was up last year. His velo has fluctuated at times. There are some things you look at his performance and maybe you're concerned. It's hard for a guy like that to sustain it over a long period. But he went through some difficult years in arbitration with the Brewers. He had some pretty big time fights with them in arbitration. They used him hard early in his career, and he became somewhat sensitive about that, I would say. I was going to say resentful, but sensitive would be the better phrase. And that's what led to him maybe being more of a one inning guy. You can debate whether he should take the ball more or take it in the eighth inning and be available for multi-inning saves. And maybe he will be now that he has gotten paid. But he's had a lot of success doing it his way. And certainly, anytime a player gets rewarded, if I'm a fan, I'm happy for that player. Because you know what? These guys work hard. They have short careers. They're the best at what they do. And you heard all this talk earlier about Josh Hader. Maybe he's not going to get it. Teams are worried about him. He's going to get a short. No. He got paid because he deserved to get paid. Josh Hader, Dude of the Week.